So you've been doing creative work for over 20 years. What keeps you passionate about design and innovation? And why do you do what you do?
Yeah, great question. My purpose, the driver for me is that I believe that design and definitely innovation can improve the lives of the people around me. It's what drives me. It's always interesting to parachute into a new company every week or so and understand what it is that they're doing, why it's important, and then find ways through design and innovation. I and the folks with me at Lantern can unleash them and help them do what they do just that much better.
What's one design trend or shift over the past 20 years that has had the biggest impact on your work?
There's a lot of things that come and go over 20 plus years, but there's probably two that I'd mentioned, but one that is just central. When I started into my roles in design and my journey that way, user experience design wasn't even really a thing that we talked about. It wasn't certainly a title. There weren't companies that were doing that. But I learned very early in my career that the sort of user centricity, delivering work for users, was really what made my work better, was what helped me move the needle. And going back to my mission with design, I want to improve the lives of the people around me. And the best way to do that is to understand, okay, what are they doing now to introduce some changes or improvements and actually measure it. And back in the day, I had to fight so hard to get users to be involved in this process. The hoops we've had to jump through to engage people, to cover the legal hoops that we had to move through to get approval to do this, to all the different things. Nowadays, if you're not doing that, you're doing it wrong. And that becoming a general expectation. For me, that hasn't changed, but it's just gotten a lot easier to collaborate with other people in other roles, trying to all do the same thing. We are all on a mission to provide a better experience, a better result to these people. And the other trend I would say is a big contributor, but not the core piece is product thinking. It's to understand that we are all contributing to this one thing together. But at the heart of it, it's that user centricity. And I've known it for basically my whole career, but how I've been able to engage and grow and change how I do to produce more impact is nice to have the world swell up around you and agree that this is the way to do the thing.
If logistics didn't matter and
Mhm.
you could work from wherever you want in the world for a month, where would you choose and why would you choose it?
This might be the trickiest question. There's so many places, but to me, I live in an amazing part of the world. I live in Western Canada. Like we've got the Rocky Mountains. I live in a wonderful city and I can be down in the river valley and feel like I'm lost in the trees very quickly. What I don't have near me is a big body of water. And I always wonder, what would it be like to live and work near an ocean? And so for me, it would be somewhere near a beach, maybe a Costa Rica, somewhere where maybe I could brunch with a sloth some of the days and have access to water and try and do and learn things like surfing, but to just understand what would the flow, the feel, the vibe of life be like if I had this big body of water that I could interact with, be immerse myself in and enjoy every day.
Yeah, I love that answer. And I wonder the same for myself, being near a big body of water and potentially having breakfast with the sloth. Okay, last question here. Can you please share a piece of advice that's been a guiding light throughout your career?
Great question. There was a philosopher from a bit of a ways back named Alan Watts. And he had a whole talk on what if money was no object? And it's been passed around, abridged, edited. There's YouTube videos out there. I encourage you to check them out. But that question, what if money was no object? What if you were just doing what you wanted to do, what you felt you were put here to do? It's easy to get into a role and just think about climbing the ladder and getting that 2 to 5% year over year and building this life that we all expect. But if you just focus on what it is that what you think is the important work and what makes you tick, I think it's a much better approach. And ideally, maybe you can find a balance and you can have your cake and eat it too. And actually, if you listen to Alan Watts' words there, if you do something long enough, you'll become an expert at it. And there's always going to be someone around that needs an expert, regardless of what it is. But chase the meaning, chase the purpose more than the money. So just what if money was no object? It's very broadly applicable, but I think a much more durable and meaningful focus for a life and a career.